So today we're going to make cheesy potato soup. I'm going to take this much of a stick of butter, throw out my pan. We're going to have a bunch of these diced onions, some garlic. Turn our fire on. We're going to get the onions going first, and then we'll add the garlic, and we'll add the celery next. So our cheesy potato soup onions are doing good. I'm going to add a little pat a bit more butter from the stick of butter. I am going to add like 3 cloves of garlic that I chopped up and a plate full of celery. And I have my potatoes. I have them peeled. I have them diced. I have them cubed. I have them barely sitting in some water here. And they're going to go in after these get fried a little. And I have some bone broth that I made quite a while ago. And it's about, just a little Ziploc baggie full. Definitely not full. I have been told that the bone broth I made that year is excessively spicy. I did use quite a bit of hot peppers in this. So I am only going to use just this one little baggie for this. I mean, for everybody else, plain bone broth or beef stock, whatever you got will be perfectly fine. Chicken stock, beef stock, whatever you want. It is cheesy potato soup. Nothing's going to hurt. But yes, my bone broth does have quite a bit of ridiculously hot peppers in it. So now that the onions look like that and they're frying nice in that butter, I'm going to go ahead and put this garlic and the celery that I've chopped up. And then after they fry up for just a wee bit, I'm going to pour the potatoes and all that water in. And then we're going to throw that frozen bone broth in. So as the onions are frying for the cheesy potato soup, I'm just going to cut up the potatoes that I peeled. So I just cut them in slices, and then in slices again, and then make them into little tiny cubes. I'll do another one for you guys. So peeled potato, 1, 2, it's a small potato. Then I do 1, 2 here, and then the other way, so it's cubes. So just pick your bite size and cut them that way. So the celery and the garlic and the onions have kind of sweated down quite a bit. I added 1 more pat of butter off the butter thing here to keep it cooking, and it looks really nice. So I am ready to add some garlic, some oregano, some paprika, ooh, tongue twister, and my favorite, turmeric. Okay, so this gives it all its beautiful color. So I'm going to add these, and then I'm going to throw in the potatoes, and I'm going to throw in my frozen homemade bone broth. Like I said, if you don't have it, that's fine. Get some chicken stock, get some bone broth, whatever you want to get. And then I am going to use Velveeta. So here I have a 2-pound thing of Velveeta, which in hindsight has just told me I use quite a bit of Velveeta. So I'm going to use like almost half of this thing in that pan, which probably feeds like 8 adults. Easy, and you probably have some left over. And then I have a thing of cream cheese, and we are going to put these spices in. We're going to put the potatoes in. We're going to put the bone broth in, and we're going to let that simmer until these potatoes are barely fork tender. Then we're going to turn off our heat, and we're going to add all the rest of this stuff. So here's what it looks like at the start with all the spices, celery, garlic, onions, potatoes, butter, everything in it. And I'll show you the final results when it's done. So this is what my cheesy potato soup with all its spices looks like after it has been cooking. Plenty of turmeric in there. As you can see, a plastic fork barely works this. I mean, it does, but it's kind of difficult. Not that difficult at all, but slightly. So at this point, I am going to add my cream cheese, a whole brick of cream cheese. I think it's an 8 ounce. And apparently I had way too much Velveeta to stuff. So I'm going to add almost 1 pound of Velveeta to this. And like I said, it serves at least minimum like 8 adults. So here I got a block cream cheese, 8 ounce block right there. And I got a bunch of Velveeta in there. And these potatoes are slightly firm. Nothing like you're going to make for mashed potatoes, because this is soup. You don't want them smushy and nushed. And I'm just going to let that fill in. And I will come back in a little bit. And I sometimes add sour cream to this. Actually, quite a bit, but I think the shoppers have forgotten to boil this. So no sour cream this time, but sour cream does kind of seem to thicken it up a little bit more. You can add mashed potato flakes if you think it's too thick, but like I said, this is cheesy potato soup. It will look a lot better when it's done. So our cheese is very melted. Everything is going in and it's very lovely. I do think it's a little bit thin, but I think that every single time. I mean, it is soup, but depends on how hearty you want your soup. So I do have my handy dandy mashed potato flakes. Okay. So I'm going to add some of those. I'm going to thicken it up a little bit, and I'm going to put in containers for later for the rest of the week. And everybody's going to enjoy it. And it's a good soup. So I hope you try it. Love you guys.